Hi, this is Beth Cohn-Kramer, journalist and co-founder of Divorce.ly. I'm a divorcee, and I've also covered divorce for many media outlets, including Huffington Post Divorce. Through my interviews with dozens of experts, as well as my interactions with many divorced women of all stages of divorce, and my own experiences, I've come up with a lot of great information and tools to help you as you transition to turn your breakup into a breakthrough, giving you the life that you deserve. So I'm here today to offer you 3 exciting new trainings that I've developed. I've developed 2 video trainings as well as an ebook to help you move forward through that process. The first training is called Busting Free of the Divorce Mentality, and it's a guide to practicing mindfulness to free your mind, and that's going to allow you to move forward to get the happy new life you deserve. I wrote this ebook to show you how a mindfulness practice will prevent your brain from allowing the past to really dictate your present and your future. You'll learn 4 key steps to disconnect from the painful past so you can heal from your divorce, and that is what's going to allow you to move forward. The second training is related to that. In the video presentation and training, it's called An Hour a Day Keeps the Past Away. It's going to show you how to learn from your marriage without destroying your future. Whenever we have a challenge in life, it's important to look at it and keep it in perspective so that we don't repeat the same mistakes, but with balance so that we don't let it overshadow our present. This video is going to show you how to limit your connection with that past, with those past narratives and beliefs that are keeping you from moving forward, which are some of the obstacles we talked about before. We're going to talk about how you can stop overanalyzing the past. When we nitpick everything about the past based on existing narratives, things that we tell ourselves or other people are telling us. And that's really what stops us from being happy or achieving success in love after a divorce. What can you do to change the way you communicate and how you have conflict with your ex-husband? If you have children especially, you're still going to be engaging with your ex-husband. And if you go back to those patterns you established during your marriage, it's going to cause a lot of stress. And that's going to be an ongoing thing in your life unless you change that, the way that looks. Why do we rely on these narratives from our marriage and even our childhood? Is it possible to learn from the past without allowing it to just control our present or our future? We'll talk about 12 steps that you can take that will quiet your mind, that will make your mind quiet so that you're free of the past. And that's what's going to allow you to embrace love, purpose, and meaning after your divorce. And the third training I'm going to give you is my signature Dating Without a GPS. That's going to completely change the way you look at dating so that it's not some chore that you have to undergo, but something that's fun and can be an adventure. What's the one overreaching idea of dating without a GPS that will change the way you see dating? Is it okay to want to be alone after your divorce? Is it normal? Is it healthy? I'm going to share a 4-point checklist so you can see if you're ready to date even. How to use dating as a tool for discovery about yourself and about others and about relationships. The 12 steps that you can take that are going to completely change the way you successfully date after divorce. The most important rule about timing. How to handle things like rejection and ghosting. Why getting your sexy on is absolutely essential to dating after divorce. And it's not what you think. It's not about, showing up in a G-string or 10-inch heels. I'd like to offer all of this to you, all 3 of these bonuses for free. Why? Well, it's a blatant bribe to try my new coaching and mentoring program that's called Divorce.ly Inner Circle. When your divorce is over, you lose all your support. For the months or maybe even years that you've been going through your divorce, you've had an attorney, maybe you've had a financial consultant, you've had a lot of other people on your team. But now that your divorce is over, you're on your own. At the same time, you have your life is like a blank canvas in front of you. You get to decide what you want, for the rest of your life. But you don't really have a clear plan or a clear path. There's no guidance for you. There's no safety net. But that's where we come in. We're your guide and your advisor through the rest of your life. The place where we'll help you figure out what your path is. We'll put you on that path and we'll guide you through your journey. We're going to assist you with all aspects of accomplishing this journey and your goals, as well as any unique situations that come up in the life of a divorcee. We've got your back, your front, and your sides. What we're going to do is we're going to take away those fears and the worries and anxieties you may have about starting over, and we'll replace them with purpose, with passion, with clarity. There are 4 sections of Divorce.ly Inner Circle. We are going to have live calls, a newsletter, your hero's journey report, and access to our private Facebook group. Let's talk about the live calls. Twice a month, we're going to have live calls that will be recorded in case you can't make it, but you'll have a chance to ask questions and with me and with other experts that I have on as guests. One of the areas we'll be talking about is financial, and we'll have a certified financial planner to answer questions for you. You'll be getting help with things like personal finances and budgeting, investments and financial planning, Social Security. We're going to also talk about relationships. We'll talk about how to untangle those knotty problems that you have with your ex-spouse, dating again, making new friends and expanding your social network, as well as dealing with your old friends. We'll also discuss personal challenges. You'll have a chance to ask questions and to talk to myself and the other people that are on the call, as well as experts that we have on. We'll talk about overcoming any kind of personal challenge you have, whether it's internal or external, that may be stopping your ability to achieve your goals and to move on in your life. We'll resolve any kind of life scenario that gets in your way. Anything you need, we'll do it together, live every other week. That's not all you'll get, though. Every month, you're also going to get a package with secret documents. And included in that package is something that we call your hero's journey. What that is a detailed roadmap that takes you out of this abyss, this place where you feel like your life is over after your divorce, and it guides you into a life that's filled with purpose and meaning, growth, significance, and success. It's kind of like your blueprint and your guide for the most incredible journey of your life, and it drives you to achieve things that you really didn't even think were possible, just beyond your dreams, while transforming you into a warrior woman in the process. You're going to learn certain traits and habits, principles, and experiences, as well as the wisdom and self-confidence to get and accomplish anything that you want in life. Divorce is not an end. It may be the end of your marriage or your relationship, but it also gives you a unique opportunity to build the life that you want if you take that chance. But rebuilding your life is a journey. And you can be the hero of that journey and that adventure. You can experience success and growth and happiness beyond what you thought was possible. I've spoken to so many women who are divorced who seem to get stuck in this pattern, this past, where they think that their life is over because they're divorced, or, they've made some bad choices in their life, choices that they weren't happy with, and that their life is pretty much done. And that's really not the case. So we're going to help you to move forward in that journey. In your hero's journey, we'll teach you the strategies you need, these skills, and we'll provide you with tools and blueprints in order to plan and execute and measure your progress as you move forward through this journey. Some of the topics we're going to cover are human motivations. What drives people and why? How can you discover your purpose? What's your purpose in life? We all have a purpose. How to craft your purpose statement so you'll know exactly what it is, and you'll be able to use it as your life's compass to guide you. How to choose a mission that's based on that purpose and to embark on the journey in order to accomplish it. What are your true life assets? And your bank account or your finances really are the least important of those. How to nurture those assets and grow them so that you can align those with your purpose. What vision is and how to craft a big and compelling one. And the 4 areas of your life you need to create one in order to achieve a full and successful life's journey. How to choose and set proper milestone goals so that you can use them as guideposts and benchmarks to track your progress along the way. The right way to take action on your life's vision and towards your practical, well-defined goals. You'll learn the philosophical and practical approach behind what you should do and what you shouldn't do. What you should do yourself and what you should outsource. And of the things you should do, how to apply the Pareto principle to only do what you love the most and will get the most bang for your buck. You'll also determine your measure for success and setting up systems and habits to track that success. When we have a plan, we have to break it down into chunks and we have to look at it along the way. It's like if you were on a diet, you'd want to check in every couple months or every couple weeks to figure out what you're doing and what you need to change. It's the same thing with your success tracking. Now, each one of these areas is a world unto itself, but we're going to break it down in simple to follow, manageable chunks. And we'll be coaching you through this whole process. As they say on TV, that's not all. You're also going to get a newsletter every month of all the strategies and the knowledge that I've acquired as a divorcee and as a journalist. I've interviewed dozens of experts on all kinds of issues that have to do with divorce and your life after divorce. And I've also addressed a lot of issues that uniquely confront divorced women. These are the exact same strategies and information that I use to take myself out of the wilderness of divorce, to move myself along the path of growth and happiness, independence, and empowerment. Some of the topics that we'll talk about include personal finance for divorcees, such as financial literacy, retirement planning, investing and budgeting, buying a home, credit and credit score protection. We're going to talk about career and also entrepreneurship for divorcees. How do you get back in the job market if you've been home with your kids? Finding where your passion meets your skill set in the marketplace, because those are really important to look at when you're considering your career or a business after divorce. Starting your own business, dealing with rejection during the job search, networking, how to network, and how to have work-life balance for divorced moms. We'll talk about relationships. Are you ready to date? Online dating, how to write a winning profile, kids and dating, balancing your children with dating, extending your social network, not just dates, but friends, cleaning house, how to get rid of dream killers and critics and negative Nancys, how to deal with your ex-laws or your couple friends and other extended family, the ins and outs of co-parenting, dealing with a difficult ex when you really don't want to, blended families, remarriage, and the stepmom. We'll talk about self-care for divorcees. When I was going through my divorce and even after my divorce, I found that self-care was something that was absolutely essential to move my life forward. We tend to think, as women, especially if we're parents and mothers, that we have to put everybody else's needs ahead of our own. But I like to think of it as when we go on a plane and they tell us to, use, when the oxygen mask comes out, we have to put it on ourselves first before we can take care of other people. It's the same thing with self-care. If we're not taking care of ourselves, we're really not of use for anybody else. One of the parts of self-care that was essential to my own healing process was exercise. And it's not just about how your body looks. It's an empowering thing. Setting goals through exercise is empowering, and it gives you the strength and empowerment to move on and to feel confident about yourself. How meditation and mindfulness can help you with stress. Why self-care is actually selfless. It's not selfish. What to do. How do you fill your time when your kids are now with your ex for the weekend, or maybe they're on vacation with your ex, or the times when they're with your ex during the week? How what you eat impacts your mood. Lifestyle for divorcees. We'll talk about why alone doesn't really have to mean loneliness. You can be alone and not be lonely, and you can be in a relationship and be lonely. Holidays and new traditions. What kind of new traditions can you set up with your kids so that you feel like you're still a family? Style tips for transformation. You have a new opportunity to be a new person, to be the new you. What are you going to do to establish that for work and personal reasons? How to personalize your new space. Table for One, Adventures of a Single Woman. And how to turn divorce into a transformation. How to create meaning, manifest meaning from your divorce. Throughout this whole process, the newsletter and to the calls, we're going to be returning regularly to themes and principles that are really essential for you to move forward and to rebuild your life so you have a successful, fulfilling life. Some of the themes that I've established through my various programs that I've come up with include boundaries, how to establish and maintain your space and limits. A lot of times when we feel angry, it's because somebody's trampling over our boundaries. That may be what happened during our marriage or with other people in our past, with our parents and our colleagues or friends. How do you establish that space and set those boundaries? Self-awareness, getting reacquainted with who you were before you got married and who you are now, your conflict style and your triggers. Wise mind. How can you feel your emotions, which is absolutely important, but without judging them, without judgment? And how to avoid making your decisions just solely based on your emotions, whether it's fear or avoiding conflict or, anger or revenge. How to deal with the difficult ex, healing from narcissism and abuse. Finally, as a member, you'll gain immediate access to our private Facebook group. This is the Membership Nerve Center. It's where we'll interact with you on a daily, ongoing basis. We'll post important news and updates, as well as resources and recordings to help you with this program. But most importantly, it's where you can interact with your fellow members and people who are in the same boat as you are. We don't have all the answers. We don't profess to have all the answers, and we haven't experienced every single situation that women may be in after divorce. But chances are you'll find other members who have. This private group is going to give you a chance to make new friends from all over and to learn from them and share their knowledge and experiences. And you can share your knowledge also. One of the most valuable tools I've found in learning about yourself and being able to move forward is helping other people and guiding other people through that process. And that's exactly what will happen in our private Facebook group. Remember, divorce is not just an event in your life. It's not something where you go to your lawyer's office and somebody files papers and then you move through this process, this continuum, and then one day you sign the papers and it's all over. It's really a lifestyle that you'll carry with you for the rest of your life. It's this chance to create meaning from your past and to learn from your past while moving forward, and the tools and skills you can get in the process. There's no better way to prepare for that, to live out that lifestyle, than with the support, advice, knowledge, and strategies that you'll get in Divorce.ly Inner Circle. Guaranteed. You're not going to find this compilation of information anywhere else. It's not that the information, each part is necessarily unique, but it's the way it's overarching and unifying throughout that makes it really special. You're probably wondering about the cost. As a member, you're going to get everything. You'll get the live video conferences, you'll get the Hero's Journey Guide, you'll get our Divorce.ly Inner Circle newsletter, and you'll have access to our private Facebook group for just $197 a month. There's no contract and you can cancel anytime. And you'll never have to pay for the training. You'll get to keep all the trainings for free. You'll get bonus 1, Busting Free of the Divorce Mentality. Bonus 2, An Hour a Day Keeps the Past Away. And bonus 3, Dating Without a GPS. All for free. Bonus 1 is worth $47. Bonus 2, $97. And bonus 3 is valued at $297. You'll get all that training for free. So if you're still not sure that you're ready to sign up, you may be thinking, how do I know this is going to work for me? To me, that means two distinct possibilities. It means either that you don't trust me and you're not really sure about this whole process, which means that I didn't really do my job and I didn't really explain well enough how this will impact your life. And in that case, I want you to wait to sign up. The other side is that maybe you have self-doubt. It's not unusual at all to doubt yourself at any time during the divorce process or even after. Maybe your ex-husband was really critical of you. Your life right now is at a standstill. You aren't really sure what the next step is or which way you're going to go. Maybe, like a lot of women, you feel like you failed at your marriage, that you didn't do a good enough job at staying married or being in your relationship, which a lot of women feel. A lot of women have those doubts, after a divorce. You're hearing messaging from your friends and family that may just magnify this self-doubt. Maybe they're telling you that you're never going to meet somebody else, or that you should have stayed married till your kids were older, and all those things that are like inside of you that just get blown up by these other people's perceptions. So why would you believe that you have the chops to follow through on Divorce.ly's Inner Circle? Well, I'm here to tell you that my job is to be your personal guide to crush through that self-doubt and to kick it to the curb. Your divorce is final now. So that means that you get to decide what the next step is. You can decide that you're going to hold on to the past and stay stuck in the past with your regrets and your disappointments or your anger and your self-doubts. Your tires get sort of stuck in this narrative, in the mud of this narrative, that you're a loser and a failure, that that no one's going to want you, that you're past your prime, that your life is over. Or you can hold your head high, you can manifest meaning from your past, and you can disconnect with that narrative using our big bag of skills and tools so that you're propelled to a life filled with purpose, meaning, and joy. The choice is yours. I get self-doubt because I've been there. By the time I was interviewing divorce attorneys, I'd been target practice to appease my ex-husband's anxiety and self-doubting episodes for close to 15 years, which he freely admitted during our divorce process. I was exhausted from fight or flight, from constantly trying to defend myself and to survive, while he would just stay calm and cool and question my sanity, which is otherwise known as gaslighting. I was petrified of my ex-husband, so much so that my mood would completely shift when I would hear the garage door open every night. I listened to my mom. My mom would tell me, to make sure everything was perfect so he had nothing to complain about. But as you know, that's just futile. You just can't do that. It's not sustainable, and it causes a lot of anxiety in yourself. I try so hard to make everything perfect. If my babies cried, I'd throw them in the car and I'd drive around for a few hours, because even in the middle of the night, I didn't want to wake my ex-husband up because he'd get upset. I would take my kids to McDonald's indoor playground as soon as they woke up on the weekends, because I just didn't want to disturb my husband. He would tell me that he didn't want to be bothered by kids crying. So I was kind of like a captive. So that by the time I got to divorce, or I had done the work to make myself feel better about myself and to know that this wasn't a healthy environment for me or my kids, I had absolutely no confidence that I could withstand any sort of conflict in the courtroom. The idea of standing before a judge with my ex-husband and some attorneys was absolutely terrifying to me. I knew in the back of my mind, I would just replay the scene in my head that he could manipulate the judge and make him seem irrational. He could kind of just make the judge wrap him around his finger, and then I would seem irrational, and he'd push my buttons so that I would get upset, and he knew what triggers to hit, while he stayed calm and collected. And I just knew that I could not handle that. In my mind, I just did not have confidence that I could handle that. So I ended up choosing this attorney who seemed really nice, and that she was going to hold my hand. And I also chose a process that didn't really serve me. I allowed my ex-husband and his attorney really to take control of everything. So we would sit in this conference room, the four of us, the two attorneys and my ex-husband and I just kind of like accepted whatever his attorney and he said. We didn't have to go to court, which I guess was a positive, and it took less time. It wasn't like a really protracted process. It was only, I think we did everything like in 5 or 6 weeks. And from time to time, I would realize that there was something that he'd bring up in his proposal that just didn't seem right to me, or that it would just seem really punitive to me, that it was punishing me. But at the end of the day, I agreed to financial points, especially, that would leave me struggling for years to recover. What happened, when I got through this process and I was reflecting on it, and I really was aware of this mess that I was left in, I allowed my fears and this narrative of the past, projecting what I thought would happen during my divorce, to overrule my life and the choices I made during my divorce. I knew, and deep down inside, I knew I could feel something was wrong, and I knew that these things weren't right, that I shouldn't have agreed to these things, but I didn't think that I could handle it, and I just was so anxious to get out, to be done with this process, that I really didn't do my due diligence. So it took me a long time to dig out from this, what seemed like this big hole. Like I would never be able to get out of it. I felt lonely and scared. And, there were times when I would just end up like at a heap on the bathroom floor. I wasn't really sure how I was going to turn my life around, or even if I deserved to turn my life around. The one thing, though, that kept me going were my kids, my 2 beautiful daughters. I knew that I had to pull myself out of this anxiety and sadness. And I also knew that I had to create some kind of meaning from this experience. It's a very big part of my life's philosophy that when I go through challenges, I don't want it to be something that just leaves me there, but I want to be able to move forward and to create some kind of meaning from it. At the same time, I really didn't want this to be my story. As a writer, people, that were close to me or that knew my story would often say to me, why don't you write a book about this, or write a book about this sort of situation? And I just really didn't want it. It wasn't that I that I was ashamed of what had happened or that I was embarrassed, but I just really wanted to be able to move forward in what I thought was a positive way, and not kind of stay bogged down in that past. I also knew that I was really grateful to have a second chance. For much of my life, writing's been a really big part of my existence. It just, a lot of us have one thing or another that's just a big part of our everyday, something that we can't imagine not doing. But at the same time, I had stopped writing during my marriage. I really didn't write at all during my marriage. Once in a while, I'd write a press release for the school or a nonprofit or something, but I really wasn't doing any writing. Towards the end of my marriage, when I really had gone through this process with therapy and self-discovery and reflecting and just really making some hard choices about where I wanted my life to go, I started a blog, and I was getting a lot of attention from my work. People were responding to my work. One personal goal that I had set aside when I got married was to be a food writer. I'd always been really passionate about restaurants, and I'd even flown to Los Angeles for a weekend course in food writing before I moved here. I was living in New Jersey and New York, and probably like a few years before I moved here, I flew out to LA specifically to take a course at UCLA in food writing. Shortly after my divorce was final, I started to cover real estate for a national website, and that led to me writing a real estate column for a Los Angeles online magazine. The editor of that magazine asked me to do a restaurant review, and that led to an entire new career as a food writer. So that, I was able to reconnect with my life goal, which was amazing to me. 6 years later, I'm really part of the LA food scene. I work with publicists and chefs and restaurateurs some of whom I'd idolized for years, like they were my idols. My professional and social life includes many colleagues from the food world, including other writers. Another goal that I had, after my divorce was to write for Huffington Post. And in short time, I started covering issues that were surrounding divorce. I took a leap and I started contacting all these different experts in divorce and personal growth around the country. And I started interviewing them to feature in my articles, to feature their thoughts about different topics. What I learned from those experts, plus my own experience with personal growth, is what formed the basis of Divorce.ly and Divorcee's Inner Circle. Had I not been able to move past those fears and the limiting beliefs that I held from my marriage and my divorce, I'd probably still be on a ball on my bathroom floor, feeling like my life was over and I really just didn't deserve to be happy. But I made this conscious choice to manifest meaning from these challenges that I had confronted during my marriage and during my divorce. I could have let my divorce drag out the rest of my life, but I chose to proactively create programs to help women just like you. That evolution has been a game changer for me. I've learned so much about myself through the process, and I'm so excited to share what I've learned with you. I think we all have a choice after divorce and any challenge really in life. When we face these challenges, we can remain mired in the past. We can just stay stuck in the past, and we can blame our past for everything, whether it's our marriage or a divorce or, our relationship with our parents. We can blame that for everything, and we can play this victim card. We all have met women and men who just stay stuck in this victim role and they don't want to move forward. Or we can choose to create the life that's far beyond what we even dreamed of. I never would have believed I could be so fulfilled and happy as I am today. I've created a life filled with meaning and purpose. I have wonderful supportive friends, many of whom I met after my divorce, and I've reconnected with people from my past. I hear from so many women who tell me that my life has truly made an impact on their healing process. I'm really grateful that I chose to take what I learned through my journey to offer Divorce.ly Inner Circle, because I feel passionate about changing the face of divorce and to help women proceed to the life we all deserve. I want divorce to be looked at as a chance that you have to create the life you deserve, that you don't have to stay stuck in the past, and your past choices don't have to define your future or your present. So I hope that you'll join all of us on this remarkable journey by signing up for Divorce.ly Inner Circle, and I really cannot wait to see what every one of you accomplishes. Now let's talk about membership dues. Like I said, it's just $197 a month. Not prohibitively expensive, but enough to keep away time wasters and those who really aren't serious about personal growth and development. The truth is, if you're the right person, this membership should be looked at as more of an investment than a cost. Why? Because it will pay you. Remember, this membership is about getting clear about what you want in life and actually getting it. More money, better health, more happiness, better relationships, a life filled with more purpose and meaning, all uniquely from the perspective of a divorcee. This is about your future, a future filled with clarity, purpose, and meaning. You've got nothing to lose and everything to gain. Also, for the first 20 people who sign up today, you'll get my barrier crashing consultation session for free. If you haven't enrolled yet, I really want to talk to you because as great as this offer is, I understand it may not be right for everybody. I really want to make sure it's right for you before you enroll today. So let's talk a little bit about the pros and the cons. Well, on the pro side, you have this proven methodology that will transform your life, and it's going to help you act confidently as your authentic self. You'll be able to identify and pursue your true passion and purpose. You'll handle and silence all the naysayers in your life, both in your mind when you tell yourself things and also the people around you. You'll discover the most stress-free and productive ways to co-parent and to deal with your ex. You'll overcome pernicious and destructive self-doubt. You don't have to have any background. You can be at any stage or time after your divorce. It's never too early or too late to start. And you'll get lots of personal help from me, lots of access to a variety of other experts in all different areas, and a community of people in the same boat to connect with and to share stories, experiences, and lessons to support each other. So what are the cons? What are the things that may be keeping you from doing this? Well, it's not the cheapest thing in the world. You have to spend some time. You have to commit some time to it. And what if it doesn't work for me? A number of people have told me that this is expensive, and you know what? It is. But it's still less than an hour working with a therapist and a life coach. It's lower than the going hourly rate for a divorce lawyer, 1 hour, and in some places it's way less. Let's divide it up. So $197, if you divide it up by every day in the month, 30 days in a month, is just $6.57 a day. You know, I looked online to see what you could actually get for $6.57 a day, and these are some things that I came up with. You could get a medical receipt book of personalized receipt pads. You can get a lemon fruit fly trap, or you can get a McCall's pattern for baby dresses and bumpers. Let's fast forward 1 year from now. You've been keeping up with the newsletters, you've been doing the exercises, and you've been engaging with the community, participating in the live calls. What's more important? Looking back at yourself and you can hardly recognize who you were. Your friends and family hardly recognize you as you brim and radiate with confidence, clarity, and a sense of purpose. You're clear on what you want out of every aspect of your life, and you're deep in pursuit of it. How amazing would that feel?